You know, the United States of America was the greatest country before Trump, and it's the greatest country now after Trump. The white supremacists want to go back. They want to go back to the days when it was legal to own slaves.
You are about to be entertained by the ape, the young man who has become a legend in his own time. You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Oh, yes, I can. What's up, everybody? Oh, my God, look who's behind me. It's the Ron Kelly Show. Oh, Jesus. It's the Ron Kelly Show, and it's on blogtalkradio.com, the RonKellyShow.com, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and also X. What's up, everybody? How's it going? How you doing? First day of Black History Month. You know I'm going to get into that. And this is the month of my birthday, as a matter of fact. My birthday is this month, and I'll be years old. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me, everybody. Appreciate you. We're going to do our thing tonight. Absolutely. It's just a couple minutes past the hour of 7 o'clock. So, yes, we're going to, part of, we got to talk about Black History Month, the good, the bad, and definitely the ugly here on the Ron Kelly Show. And also, we'll talk about Black businesses. Why should you support Black business? Why should you support Black business? I'll get into that. Last week I was coughing. This week I'm sneezing. Anyway, thanks so much, everybody. Appreciate you. Thank you for joining me here on the Ron Kelly Show. It's February 1st already, 2024. Time flies, man. I'm telling you, whatever you can't put off nothing till tomorrow. You got to do it today. You can't put nothing off. I'm telling you, because time is going by so quick. And yes, I'm going to get some better lighting because I look like horrible in this shot here. I'm definitely going to get some better lighting, more lighting, brighter lighting. Okay, it's 42 degrees outside. That's what the Lion weatherman says. So, and before you know it, because today is February 1st, so before you know it, we'll be, spring training. As a matter of fact, this is the week, the month rather, that the baseball players come back for spring training. It's February. Groundhog Day. We're going to see what groundhog says about summer and how long it's going to be before we can put our shorts back on. Anyway, everybody, it's 5 minutes past the hour. So I'm writing, and we'll get to the Black History Month stuff. So I'm writing in, around Newark today, and I'm looking at the businesses that are shuttered, that look like they'll never open again. And it was mostly Black businesses that were promulgated, whatever you call it, by African Americans. And I'm looking at these pictures of these storefronts, and you can see that the businesses, and you can tell by what the business was about and the name of the business, you can tell that they were businesses that were once owned by African Americans. And storefront after storefront after storefront after storefront, the businesses were shut down, some kind of way. And so we talk about supporting Black businesses, and people say, oh, well, you support, so that's probably why. As I mentioned to a couple of people, they were like, oh, it's probably why that the businesses have gone under, because Black people weren't supporting those businesses. And, I'm not a big believer in that, supporting Black business. I'm not a huge believer in that, supporting the Black businesses. And I'm like looking at these storefronts, and again, I can't be wrong about the name of the business and what the business was about. And I think that's two mistakes that our people make when starting business. Two of many mistakes that people make starting a business. And we'll get into it. We'll talk about it. It's about 10 minutes past the hour. So yeah, and I'm looking at these businesses, and we talk about support Black businesses, and there really ain't a whole lot of Black businesses unless you're going to get your hair cut or women are going to get their hair done. That's basically it as far as like Black businesses. So if you're not getting your hair cut or getting your hair done, you cannot focus, you cannot support a Black business because there aren't any Black businesses. So I'm looking at these stores, there's some of them with T-shirts and, stuff that special novelty stuff that people don't buy every day. Who owns a supermarket? Hispanics and all of the types of people. And so I'm looking at these storefronts, and it's a shame that the gates have gone down, and they've been down for a while. But again, you can tell the nature of the business, who owned it, which was Black people, and the product. And a lot of the businesses just weren't viable from the beginning because they weren't selling something that you had to have every day. The businesses were like T-shirt selling or some other novelty type business that people didn't use every day. And if you're going to start a business, you definitely got to, Black folks especially, you definitely have to look into that business and see, if it's something that can last. Because a lot of those businesses I saw today were just shut down, and they, it looks like they just closed the doors and walked away because nobody was going into the business. So I don't think it's so much that we don't support Black businesses, and I don't believe in that stuff anyway. I'm going to go where we're going to get the best price, and I'm Black and I love my Black people. Don't get me wrong, but I'm going where I can get the best price and the best service. Sometimes some of y'all know, you may not admit it, but some of y'all know when you're dealing with Black folks, the service may not be up to snuff. It may not be. We know that. Because I was talking to someone the other day about negativity. And what is negativity? What is negativity? So if you don't agree with a particular thing or theme, is that negativity? That's what it seems like. Because I don't necessarily agree with supporting. I'm not saying I don't support Black businesses or I wouldn't support Black businesses, but I think that when it comes to making a purchase or whatever it is, if I'm going to make a purchase, I'm going to, I'm going to do my due diligence, and I'm going to make sure that I am going to get the best bang for my buck, so to speak, and I'm going to make sure that business, I'm going to make sure that I'm getting the best bang for my buck, and I'm going to make sure that I'm getting served properly, So really, is it that? And I mentioned this to somebody the other day, and they were like, "Oh well, we need to support our Black businesses." And but if a person is selling T-shirts or whatever, I have no interest in T-shirts. Do I go buy what it is anyway? Like, well, let me get it because it's a Black person. No. If I don't like this T-shirt, I'm not going to buy it. Whatever they're selling. If I see somebody and they got something I like, I'll buy it. So it's not necessarily the color of the person that's selling it. It's if I like it, if I need it, then I'll probably wind up purchasing it at 11 minutes past the hour. So I'm not really necessarily down with that, supporting the Black businesses. And I'm not saying I won't support a Black business. I'm just saying that I don't think that is that important. Pat Wilder was supposed to be here. She had to go to a funeral or something. She's supposed to be here. She's going to get fired pretty soon. But she had to go to a funeral of a mutual friend of ours who passed on to the great beyond several days ago. And that's something that we're all going to see that. Well, you're not going to see it, but we're all going to meet our fate one day. And some people are texting me for some strange reason. Somebody is, some people are texting me, but yeah, we're all going to go to the great beyond, like one day, just one day. So yeah, so with the black businesses, because I don't see a whole lot of black businesses around, not a lot of, and then in some of the places I wouldn't bring my car in there, because it's not, a lot of the businesses are not presentable. I've seen some black businesses, auto care, and I wouldn't bring my car in there. When I take a look at the business and and how it looks, I wouldn't bring my car in there. I mean, there's Hispanic and white, all kinds of people I wouldn't bring my car in. But that's just the way that is. So yeah, so it's Black History Month, and we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about that because we have Black History Month every year for a month. And every year for a month, we focus on the accomplishments of Black folks down through the years. Now, we all know that there's enough that Blacks have contributed to society that would fill up a whole year. Because, we're the only ones that have a month or a period of time where we celebrate our history. We're the only ones. There's no White History Month. There's no Hispanic History Month. I mean, wait a minute. I think there is Hispanic Heritage Month. Yeah, but it's not history. It's heritage. They call it heritage. And I'm proud to be born Black History Month. Absolutely. Yes, indeed. Okay. So yeah, we'll get into that. We'll talk about that. I'll talk a little bit more about the black businesses and a special black business that I know of that's been in business for 40 plus years. That's one of my sponsors, Amica and Porterfield. We'll talk about the great job they've done in the city of Plainfield. We'll talk about that too in just a few minutes. All right. If you care to comment, you can just go in Facebook comments. You can make your comment or just show up here. I'll put it on the screen so you can see your comment. And maybe you might feel famous for a minute. Anyway, we'll be back with more. It's the Ron Kelly Show. It's on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and X. And also, it's the RonKellyShow.com. It's blogtalkradio.com and RonKellyShow.com. Yes, indeed, I am the man. What a news cycle this is. This guy has got to go. Trump has got to go. George Floyd snuffed out by this police officer who's supposed to be serving and protecting people.
It's the Ron Kelly Show.
All right, everybody, we're back. Thank you so much for joining me. It's the Ron Kelly Show, and it's on blogtalkradio.com, the RonKellyShow.com, and also on the web, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and X, formerly known as Twitter, destroyed by Elon Musk. How do you get to be the richest person in the world? I mean, how does that work? You know, I was just trying to keep our heads above water, trying to pay these bills and do and maybe put a little to the side for later on when the work is over. So how do you become the most powerful, most richest person in the world? Because after a while, it doesn't matter how much it is. It doesn't matter how much it is because you got so much, and there's really like not much that you can't buy. So what does it matter that What does it matter that how much money you have? Because if you got so much, there's nothing you can't do. There's no place you can't go. You can work your way into anything. You can work your way into a White House state dinner if you wanted to with that kind of money. You could get invited. You might not sit next to the president, but you could get invited, especially now that they're running. And speaking of presidents, we have Trump. Trump is on his way back. He's going to blow the doors off of Nikki Haley in South Carolina. South Carolina was Nikki Haley's state. She was the governor there for 2 terms, and she lived there. She's supposed to have people there, but Trump, according to the latest polls, Trump is way ahead of Nikki Haley in South Carolina. So we're going to be, there's going to be a Trump comeback. Believe that. There's going to be a Trump comeback. And it's hard to predict the future. You don't want to know what's going to happen, but it's hard to predict. But there's going to be a Trump comeback. It'll be up to old slow Joe Biden to it's a 78-year-old versus an 82-year-old. So we got like the race of the granddaddies, because everybody else dropped out. There was about 14 people who were running at the beginning, and everybody dropped out except for Nikki Haley. Granted, she had a pretty decent showing. Not so much in Iowa, but she had a decent showing in New Hampshire. And she didn't do too bad. She's lost, but she didn't lose. She didn't get smashed out. But they're predicting to smash out in South Carolina. And I think that if she loses, she's probably going to step back. And then Trump will probably pick one of the former candidates for his vice president, which I'm thinking that it'll probably be Tim Scott. Because Tim Scott's been a good nigga. He's been a good massa. He's been a good to massa Trump. Tim Scott. He just don't know what he's doing or where he's at. Tim Scott is a puppet. He just does what the Republican Party tells him to do. So when he got knocked out of the race, he had no chance in the first place. He endorsed Donald Trump. So Tim Scott has been a good house Negro. He's been a good house Negro, and he may get it. He may get a job. Maybe he'll be the head of HUD, like the other guy was, Ben Carson, because that's a safe job. Because you notice that Trump didn't put any black people in the really sensitive jobs like chief of staff, any of his cabinet positions. None of them were black except for HUD and Ben Carson. But no black people were in any sensitive roles when Donald Trump was the president. None. So that kind of tells you something about what the man is made of and what he's probably going to wind up doing if he does win back the White House. Because if you remember, it was a few years ago, but I remember no black people were appointed to any cabinet positions. Secretary of State, Homeland Security, Secretary, and not even like Secretary of Education. I think there might have been a black person, Secretary of Education, if my memory serves me correctly. But yeah, no sensitive positions though. No black Secretary of State. I think Colin Powell was the first black Secretary of State ever. Or, the other lady was, I forget her name. She was also, she was the Secretary of State. Condoleezza Rice, I believe, was the Secretary of State. and George Bush's presidency. But you ain't gonna see no black folks. With Trump, you ain't gonna see no black folks in sensitive positions. Defense secretary, you might see him someplace safe where they can't do no damage, like Secretary of Labor, Secretary of Agriculture, Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. Those are safe. You're not going to start a war being, you can't damage the presidency being a HUD secretary or agriculture or labor, transportation secretary. You're not going to cause any problems there. So that's probably where, if there are any black people in the next Trump, if there are any black people in the next Trump presidency, that's where those people will wind up being, and they'll wind up being in the, in someplace safe, with no high profile out in front, nothing, So, and I can't say with Biden. I mean, he's got a defense secretary who's black. I don't think any of the other secretaries are black in the Biden administration. And then the press secretary is black, and she took over for the white girl who left, Jen Psaki, who was the press secretary who left when MSNBC waved the dollars in her face, and they were like, yeah, okay, well, you can come over here and you can make more money. And she's like, okay, well, I'm out because I got kids to feed, and and they're going to pay me infinitely more money than I'm making now as a press secretary, so I'm going to take it. So she resigned after a year or so, or two, and she left. Like, okay, bye. So it's 24 minutes past the hour. So yeah, you're looking around, and we talk about black businesses, supporting black businesses, and I'm like, well, where are they? Because I don't really see any. I don't see hardly any black businesses unless, once again, they're braiding hair or cutting hair. That's mostly what you see, like service positions, serving others. And see, black folks don't, we as a whole, we don't manufacture anything. We had Carol's daughter and some of these other hair care, facial products. We don't manufacture anything. We don't make cars, and we don't build houses and stuff like that. We don't own brokerage firms and these things. There may be one or two people that I know of who started a brokerage firm, but they're so up in the clouds that we can't even reach them, because you got to have a certain amount of money to be around these black folks. You got to have a certain amount of money, So, so where are the businesses? Where are the businesses? I don't see any. Where are the businesses? And a lot of the businesses, and again, somebody told me, well, there's no businesses because black people didn't support them and they had to shut down. Yeah, but when you start a business, you have to take a look at what you're selling. First of all, what are you selling? Are you selling something or engaging in something that people need on a daily basis? People don't need T-shirts on a daily basis. People don't need sneakers on a daily basis. People don't even need clothing on a daily basis. And a lot of these businesses, they sold sneakers, they sold clothing. And, and somebody said to me, well, they went under because we didn't support them. I'm like, no, some people just don't know how to conduct business. Because you can't start a business with my friends are gonna come, because they're not good. Just like when I started this radio show, most of my friends don't listen to me, because they see me, on a semi-regular basis. So a lot of them don't even A lot of them. Um, um, yeah, that was Patricia Wilder. She got the information. She's dizzy. Anyway, it's 27 minutes past the hour. So a lot of these businesses are just not stuff that people need. I mean, if you're going to start a business, you got to start a business with, like, okay, what am I selling? Do people need it on a regular basis? People need food on a regular basis. People need gas on a regular basis. People need, there are some things that people need on a regular basis. But the problem is, the bad news is that black folks don't sell that stuff. I mean, I'm sure there's a spattering of black folks who, yeah, there's a smattering of black folks who. I mean, I'm not saying that black business. There's no black folks that own gas stations. There's no black folks that own supermarkets. I'm not saying that, but how many of them do you see? Like, especially around, and even in a highly concentrated black area like Newark or Irvington, East Orange, Patterson, Passaic, and some of these places. When you look at the businesses, you don't see any black businesses, and you certainly don't see any black people who are owning large businesses. You don't see that. So yeah, I think Patricia Wilder is going to join. I don't know. I don't know. She might join us. Anyway, it's 30 minutes past the hour. So yeah, so it's Black History Month once again. Another Black History Month. Another month to celebrate the contributions that black folks have made to these here United States of America and around the world. And black folks have contributed mightily to America. Unfortunately, they wasn't getting paid. Black folks weren't getting paid to work in the United States of America. The black man who designed the layout for Washington, D.C., District of Columbia, and they call it District of Columbia because the government, they didn't want any state to claim that they're the state of the home of. They didn't want any state to be able to say they're the home of the government. That's why they carved out that little piece of land down there in Maryland and said, okay, this ain't Maryland, this ain't Virginia, this ain't nothing. This is District of Columbia. So anyway, so there's not a lot of black businesses around. We talk about supporting black businesses, going out and supporting your black business. There ain't a whole lot of black businesses around. Like I said, I was going down South Orange Avenue today, all up in that area, South Orange Avenue, Springfield Avenue, it's 14th Avenue, some of these places. And there's like no black businesses, none. And you can tell the business that used to be at that spot because you can tell by the name of the business, some kind of really cool name, and what they were selling. From those two things, you can tell whether it was a black business or not. And as you go through the hood, you see all kinds of black businesses that are not in business anymore. And like I said, people tell me, oh, well, black people didn't support the business. Well, maybe they just didn't know how to do business. Maybe they just didn't know how to do business. Because I'm going where I can get the best meal, where I can get the best bang for my buck. And if that means, for certain things I had to go to white folks, yes, I will go to white folks. Because there's a lot of things that's missing in black entrepreneurship. There's a lot of things that are missing. Customer service, for one. Because y'all know when you go into a black restaurant or, the black, side restaurant or whatever, and they like KFC, it's more like, the small mom and pop type of restaurant. You got to wait a long time. And nobody ever tells you like, hey, listen, we're kind of backed up right now. Or we didn't pay our gas bill, whatever the case may be. Nobody tells you, we'll be right with you. It's been my experience. And again, I'm not hating. I'm not being negative, because when you tell the truth, people are like, oh, you're just being negative. No, the truth is the truth, damn it. And it's not about being negative. Who's being negative? It's not about negativity. It's about telling the truth. The business, if you go to a black business, you didn't get treated right, then you need to say something. Because I know for me, in my, there's some businesses that are efficient. I've been to some black businesses that are efficient. Then I've been to some where, it seems like they're taking all day to fix your plate. So, I don't think that, in my personal opinion, I don't think that black businesses fail because black people don't support them. Because black folks, when I drive past these businesses, these closed black businesses, you see they were selling sneakers, they were selling incense, stuff that people really don't need. So when you start a business, you don't start a business with stuff that people don't need. You got to start a business with stuff people need on a regular basis. Food, for one. Yeah, you can use some food every day. We need to eat every day. Gas, and there's a couple of other things, but not T-shirts. Who else is gonna buy a T-shirt every day? And a lot of these businesses fail because they didn't do their homework, and they didn't choose the right type of business. Meanwhile, all the other businesses, the Arabs, the Hispanics, the Chinese, or the Asians rather, meanwhile, all their businesses flourish in the black community. Their businesses flourish because they make stuff that people need. Like the Chinese restaurants, for example. People eat Chinese food all the time. Food is something that people need, and people go there on a regular basis. The 7-Elevens, the Indians, they own the 7-Elevens. I mean, I'm not to sound racist, but when you go to the 7-Eleven, 9.5 times, 9 3/4 time out of 10, you're going to see somebody of Indian, not necessarily Indian, but Asian, not South Asian descent. Anytime you go into 7-Eleven, you're going to see some Indians, and they're not necessarily Indians, but just to give you an idea, you're going to see Indians there in the 7-Eleven. You're going to see Italian people running the garbage business. You're going to see, because Italians weren't always welcome in America. Italians were ostracized just like black folks were. And white folks, when Italians started coming to America, Italians and the people from Ireland, the Irish, no, white folks was like, nah, you can't come here. And they didn't give respect to the Italians and the Irish. But there's certain businesses you can connect with different ethnicities, different ethnic groups. Like when you go to the cleaners, 9 times out of 10, who you gonna see? Somebody of Asian descent. You're gonna see somebody of Asian descent. When you go to the Chinese restaurant, who are you gonna see? Somebody from Asian descent. Now, when you go to the gas station, a lot of times, more often than not, you're gonna see someone of Arab descent. So their businesses flourish because those areas like Newark and Springfield Avenue, South Orange Avenue, there are businesses there that flourish. The supermarkets, the Chinese restaurants, the Dunkin' Donuts, and the like. And why do they flourish? Because we don't own them, And they open up businesses with stuff people need stuff every day. You need gas every day. You need to go to 7-Eleven. If I see 7-Eleven, I'm pulling over every day. I go. Because if you're gonna start a business, you have to think. You have to think outside of your friends. Because yeah, your friends are not going to come to your business every day for something that they can't use. They'll come the first time. Oh, let me buy this T-shirt. Just to make you happy. But they may not never come back. I used to get mad at my friends because they didn't listen to my radio show, and I can't. I had to think beyond my friends. So I had to start talking about stuff that I thought that maybe would piss them off. But I had to start. I had to start. I had to start talking about different things. Yeah. So it's not necessarily because the businesses were not supported by black folks, because you got to have something that people need. Now, the black businesses that do flourish are like barbershops, service, where we got to serve somebody. Barbershops, braiding hair, those are the businesses that flourish or continue to flourish in the black community. Why? Because it's something that we need. Every day, somebody's going to the barbershop. Not the same person, but every day, somebody's going to the barbershop. So that's something that people need. So just because you're black don't mean there's going to be a lot of black folks at your business when you open your door. No, it's got to be something that people need. So you got to have a proper business plan. Lamont Gates says, you must see the film American Fiction. It's a black film about the stereotypes perpetuated on black Americans. Yeah, I saw something about that, Lamont Gates. I did see something about that. And I'm glad it's funny. I'm glad it's funny. Appreciate you, Lamont Gates. Near-death experience. Lamont Gates and the NDE on YouTube. Check him out. I don't have a whole lot of information on Lamont, but yeah, check Lamont out. NDE near-death experience on YouTube. Okay, so American Fiction, I'm going to check that out. I mean, is it on link? Hopefully I don't have to go to the movies. It might be on Netflix, and I can kind of sort of watch it for free. Not free, but free. But yeah, but the black businesses go out of business because they don't sell. Oh, it's in theaters. Mom says it's in theaters. Okay, all right. Well, I guess I gotta either wait for it to come on Netflix or fork up the $50 it's going to cost to go to the movies. And I remember when I was younger, it wasn't that long ago either, by the way. We used to have a place called the Pix Theater, because I grew up in Jersey City, and hopefully nobody's watching who was around at that time. And I'm not sure what Patricia's asking me, but I'll get to that. And it used to be the Pix Theater in Jersey City on Bergen Avenue, McGinley Square. Lamont Gates says that Tuesday, because probably nobody's there. $6 every Tuesday at cinema. Okay, the next time I'm off on a Tuesday, maybe I'll go over there and check it out. And we used to have the Pix Theater, Jersey City. It was 99 cents to watch the movie. 99 cents. So we're talking, I don't think Lamont Gates was born back then, unless he's over 40. This was like in the 80s. The Pix Theater, 99 cents. We used to go to the Pix. Some of us still snuck in. I mean, damn, you ain't got 99 cents. But back then, we didn't have 99 cents. So we would go to the Pix Theater. It was 99 cents to watch a movie. 99 cents. And then somebody bought it and turned it into a skating rink. So it was out of skates back then. So we just kept going. And I was thinking about like some of the things like the Neapolitan ice cream they used to get the two waffles. I mean, they weren't waffles, but we used to get the waffles. Lamont was getting his diaper changed back then in the 80s. And yeah. So we used to get the ice cream. We go to the store, you get that. They used to have the pickles, pig feet in a jar, and they used to have those sausages, those really bright red sausages. They're redder than this T-shirt I got on. Those red sausages they would have in the jar, or you get the pig feet, or you get the pickle in the jar. They don't do that kind of stuff no more. Yeah, they don't do that kind of stuff no more. We used to get the Neapolitan ice cream, the vanilla, chocolate, and strawberry, and they would put it in between two waffles. And they weren't really waffles, but they were like waffle pieces. They would make it right there. I mean, they would take the ice cream, put the two pieces of, it used to be so good back in the day. Anyway, let me stop dating myself. Patricia Wilder says, you said the black business went out of it. The black businesses, what I said, Patricia, I guess you couldn't log on to the show. The black businesses went out of business because they weren't selling something that people needed on a regular basis. They weren't selling things that people needed on a daily basis. Everybody doesn't go to the wash. Everybody doesn't go to the barbershop every day. Different people go on different days. So the barbershops in the black community are still around. The hair shops, and because hair is a big thing now. The hair, preparing the hair, putting the hair, installing the hair is big. But who owns the hair? The Koreans. They own the hair shops. So women go to the Koreans, buy the hair, and then they go to the black woman, and she installs it on her head. You see, but black folks should be owning those businesses. They should be owning those shops, but they don't. Because like I said, we get an idea, we try to follow through with it, and a lot of these businesses don't survive because we didn't pick a viable, thing to sell. Nobody's going to buy. I see anytime you go along, in Newark, for example, Newark, New Jersey. I say Newark to the person who's watching in Los Angeles. Well, it's Watts. Newark and Watts is like the same thing. And you see the former black businesses, and they were black businesses because of the name of the business and what they were selling. So right then and there what the business was about. And and the businesses went out of business because they weren't selling something that people needed on a daily basis. Meanwhile, other businesses flourish in the black community. In some of the Chinese restaurants you go, you don't even know what you're getting. People that go in there and get food don't even know what the hell they get. And I'm not knocking the Asians and saying that they sell cats and stuff like that, but that's always been the misnomer about Asians. Like, you never see any cats around the Asian restaurant. Oh my God. Okay, time to take a break. We'll take a break and come right back with more of this nonsense. It's the Ron Kelly Show, everybody. It's on blogtalkradio.com, the RonKellyShow.com.
The United States of America was the greatest country before Trump, and it's the greatest country now after Trump. The white supremacists want to go back. They want to go back to the days when it was legal to own slaves.
You are about to be entertained by the ape, the young man who has become a legend in his own time. You must answer. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Yes, indeed, I am the man. What a news cycle this is. This guy has got to go. Trump has got to go. George Floyd snuffed out by this police officer who's supposed to be serving and protecting people.
It's the Ron Kelly Show.
And we're back, everybody. It's the Ron Kelly Show, and it's on blogtalkradio.com, theronkellyshow.com, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and X, formerly known as Twitter. It's 13 minutes before the hour. So, well, it's 15 minutes before the hour, I should say. So, yeah, so the black businesses go out of business because they don't think about what they're getting into. Do people need what I'm selling? Do people actually need it? Do people need what I'm selling? Do they need it on a regular basis? Because people don't need T-shirts on a regular basis. People don't need sneakers on a regular basis. And a lot of these black businesses is sneakers, jeans, stuff like that. Okay. I gotta send this email. So the black businesses are selling stuff that nobody needs. Let me see. Okay, Patricia, stop texting me. So this is probably the problem. That a lot of these businesses go out of business because they go out of business because that's the way it is. We start businesses that are not viable. And you got to start a viable business. It can't be a business. It can't be a business that that's not viable. It can't be a business that's not viable. Yeah, Patricia, we'll get together next week. Patricia Wilder, is about 10 minutes left to the program. So it's going to take me 10 minutes just to send you this information. So we'll do it again next week. Or not next week, but the following week, because next week is the repass for a mutual friend of ours who has gone on to glory, like they say, 9 minutes before the hour. So a lot of the businesses just are not viable. Black folks start. And that's basically it. Clothing, that kind of stuff is not something people need on the. And people are not going to. And see, and the other thing too is like where you open your business. Because some people just are not going to go on Springfield Avenue. Some people are not going to go on certain. People are not going to go on certain. Joanne Jackson, we're going to send you a clock so you can handle your business and tune into the Ron Kelly Show. But I appreciate you, even if it's only a couple of minutes before the show ends. Appreciate you. So Patricia Wilder says, we are selling anything different. See, but it's not about being different. If there can be more than one supermarket in a neighborhood. There can be more than one. Some people will go to one, and some people will go to the other one. Patricia Wilder says, we're not selling anything different. But yes, we are. Because we're selling T-shirts. We're selling sneakers. You pass by some of these stores, and we sell, like, we don't sell things that people actually need. We sell novelty things that people will buy sometimes. And if we do want to sell T-shirts, and a lot of the bodegas, they have the white tees in there already. So, and those youngins that like to wear them white tees, gangbangers or whatever, they'll go in the bodega and they'll buy their T-shirts in the bodega. They won't even come to you. So black folks need to sell stuff that people need, because we don't sell things that people need. We sell things that people sometimes want. And that's why the businesses go out of business. So I don't believe for a second it's because I don't believe for a second it's because black folks don't support black businesses. That's not true. But like, for example, cornbread. I love cornbread. Cornbread is a restaurant in this part of the country. Some of y'all who are listening in other places don't know. But it's a black-owned business, but the food is good. The price is reasonable, and the service is pretty good. So, yeah, all right, I'll go there. But see, but I don't. Patricia Wilder says she totally disagrees with me. Of course she does. And that there's not enough black business in the community. No, because black folks won't start businesses that are viable. That's why. They won't buy businesses that are viable. There's businesses in the black community, 7-Eleven, supermarkets, laundromats. These businesses are there. You know, people go to the laundromat every day. Somebody goes to the laundromat every day. So why aren't black folks putting up businesses that people need? See, that's the problem. You need to put up a business that people need. Just because you black don't mean people are going to be storming your store. It's about 8 minutes before you're out. Just because you're black doesn't mean people are going to be storming your business. Doesn't mean that just because you're black. You know, you have to have something that people need. And that's the basis of any business, white, black, Asian, South Asian, Indian, whoever. You have to have a business that you sell something that people need, a business that's viable. And a lot of the black folks' businesses, you see those gates pulled down and you can see the name on the business that used to be the name of the business. And they're there because they didn't have a viable business. They didn't have a viable business. And that's why those businesses failed. I don't believe for a second it's because black folks didn't support the business. You know, but you see the laundromats are still, the laundromats, you see the black-owned businesses like the hair places, like places where the women get their weaves or whatever, wigs, weaves, whatever you want to call it. They still in business. But before you go there, guess what? You got to go to the Koreans and you got to buy the hair and whatever else you need to the Koreans. So why not try to own one of those hair stores with the hair, well, not grease, they don't use grease anymore, but why not try to own a, Patricia Wilder says, first of all, we're some of the smartest people. Yeah, we're the smartest people, but we're dumb when it comes to a lot of things. You know, we're dumb when it comes to business. We're dumb when it comes to business. And we're dumb when it comes to business. Yeah, but again, have a business that people are gonna frequent, a business that people need. And a lot of times we don't have a business that people need. We have a business that we get an idea and we're like, oh, this is gonna sell. You know, and then next thing you know, we're out of business. You know, sneakers, t-shirts, you know, those kind of things. And those businesses are not gonna last. But Foot Locker, you know, Snipes, Foot Locker, you know, those businesses last. Those businesses last. So you go in the hood in certain places, there might be a Foot Locker there. That Foot Locker has been there for a while. So what's the difference? Because it's a bigger store and they have more variety. So when you go in a Foot Locker, it's more than likely that you're going to find what you need. So yeah, I understand, Patricia, that we want business like everyone else, but we have to sell something that people need. And if you're not selling stuff that people need, you know, yeah, Patricia Wilder says, Y'all can read it yourselves. And I'm not, our thoughts about business are in the twilight zone because we're selling, we get an idea that we're going to sell something. Now, we're going to sell something. We're going to sell something. Just like when just like when we get an idea about a business and see, a lot of times, Patricia, we think that the business we get an idea, but there's more work you have to do. Patricia says no one needs an iPhone. I mean, Lamar Gates says no one needs an iPhone, but Apple stocks are doing quite well, not black owned. Well, but like I said, when you go into, so a lot of these businesses are associated with ethnic groups. When you go into 7-Eleven, you think Indian. When you go into the Chinese food restaurant, you think Asian. When you go to buy gas, more often than not, there's somebody serving the gas and has a turban on their head. So these people have started these businesses, and they started businesses that selling something that people need. Gas, people need gas. You need a cup of coffee in the morning, whatever, a bagel. They go to 7-Eleven, and so they when they started these businesses, they started businesses where they are with things that are viable. And you can't start a business. Patricia Wilder says, all I'm saying is deliberate that black folks have less business. So she gets black folks, and see, and part of it is, and part of it is a small part of it. Part of it is that black folks don't want to do business with each other. A part of it is a small part, but yes. But see, black folks in the 60s probably were smarter than black folks in the 2020s, because they had businesses, black folks had stores, they had fish markets, they had these kind of things, grocery stores, and they sold stuff that people needed. And you got to sell stuff that people need. You can't sell stuff that people don't need. Okay. And the Ron Kelly Show is being sponsored by Amica and Porterfield Transportation. Amica and Porterfield for 40 years, safe, reliable transportation to and from your destination. Amica and Porterfield is the place to go. 307 Arlington Avenue in Plainfield, New Jersey, 908-753-6423, 908-753-6423. Give them a call. You won't be disappointed. Thank you, everybody, for watching the Ron Kelly Show. It's about 50 seconds left. Patricia, we can butt heads on this whenever you're able to come to the radio program. Patricia says, she's saying that we are not encouraged to start our own business. Well, we got to think first. The deck has been, no, I'm not down with that. The white folks, yet we don't create anything. We just buy stuff. We don't create nothing. But I don't think that we're consumers. We're not producers. And that's what, and black folks spend billions of dollars a year on stuff, struggle to pay for that Lexus, and the white folks are just cashing in because we don't produce anything. So we'll get into this more. Patricia, we'll see Patricia probably not next week, but the week after. We'll see her here on the Ron Kelly Show. There's cigarettes, beer, chicken wings. That's some of us black people want. That's why they come into it. Well, see, but we don't sell cigarettes and beer and chicken wings. We let the Asians do that. We let the Hispanics sell the beer and cigarettes, and we let the Asians sell the chicken wings or KFC or whoever. I'm over my time. It's about It's a half a minute past the hour. So come back and come on time, Joanne Jackson. And we'll see you guys here next week for another edition of the Ron Kelly Show. So until then, remember, it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice, and that we may not have it all together, but together, Patricia Wilder, together, we can certainly have it all. Thank you so much, and I think I'm out of here.